Hello, so today I thought we'd have another play with the jelly plate. This is a Gelli Arts printing plate and it's a 5x7 I'm going to use. I've got three sizes but I'm going to use a 5x7. I thought we'd have a go at making some prints similar to this. They are obviously jelly prints. They've got quite a lot of layers. They came about because Birgit Koopsen is doing a challenge, a 31-day challenge of gel printing, and on one of her posts and videos she used alcohol inks on her jelly plate, and she just did one layer and pulled the print, and I think she put the alcohol inks on, and then when it was dry she put gesso and pulled the print. I had a play with that and that was nice, but I wanted to add a lot more layers and I wanted quite an interesting sort of textural grungy look, and I thought if I added more and more layers I would get that. This is, out of all the prints, that is my favourite, but I'll show you them all. This is a sort of a nice orangey red one. This one's golds, oranges and a little bit of teal, but I've actually added some white gesso on the top. This one, I don't know if you can see, hopefully you can see the shine and the shimmer, has got some metallic elements and some glitter. It's sort of greys, oranges, reds and browns. This one again has got some glitter as well as some white gesso on the top. It's oranges and dark browns and blacks. But this is by far my favourite. It's got a mixture of things on, which I'll explain. It has a thing called, when I find the right one, Izink Ice was one of the layers. And this is a gel, a translucent gel. And it's a little bit like a coloured gel medium basically. So you can, I've got another video saying how to create coloured gel medium. So you could do that. If you look back in my videos, you'll be able to find creating and using coloured gel medium. This is a manufactured product. It's one of Seth Apter's products, along with Aladdin produce it. And it is lovely. This one's called Whiskey Frost. It has a French name on the back because Aladdin are a French company, but it's called Whiskey Frost, and it gives a nice antique-y look to a lot of projects. If they're too bright and you want to knock them back a bit, if you put a layer of this on, it makes a lovely antique-y look. If you put it on thick, it's this sort of browny colour. If you put it on thin, you get a nice sort of goldy yellow. You can see at the top here there's just a little bit there. It's translucent so you can see the layers underneath, so that's one of the things I used. I'll just move my brays out of the way somewhere for the moment. I also used not particularly on that one but on quite a few of the prints, some of the Arteza acrylic, but this is the iridescent range. There's a lot of colours. There's actually 10 that I have. I aren't sure if there's any more colours, but I got a pack of 10 for Christmas from my husband. And it's really, really nice, and it is translucent as well. Iridescent but translucent. I also used some alcohol inks. Now these are the Ranger ones. I've only got 3 of the Ranger ones. I want more, but as always you have to wait and save up. So this comes as a set, and there's Celestial, Smolder and Mineral. And obviously Celestial is blue. They do separate, so you need to shake them a lot before you start working with them, because some of the metallic pigment goes to the bottom. So you have to shake them up, and they've got a little ball bearing in, which helps them to mingle. The Mineral is a a metallic but sort of browny metallic, and then the Smolder is the one that I used on here. Now you might not be able to see it. On the top there's almost like a silver shimmer effect on there, and that is the Smolder. So I used some of those. I also used, because I couldn't afford a lot of the Ranger alcohol inks, I bought a very cheap set of alcohol inks, which there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 in the set, but there is about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 or 5 whites in there. They're actually meant for colouring resin, but they work for this process perfectly. They're not as pigmented as the Ranger ones. They spread a lot quicker, but for some projects for backgrounds it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's just something that you can use that's a little bit cheaper to make your money go a bit further. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's Sigwong is the name, the company. I presume they're Chinese, Japanese, something like that. But I got them in a set, as I say, and there's a lot of different colours. So I'll be using some of those. The other supplies that you'll need will be some tissue paper, or this is actually, it says it's parchment paper. It's from the Gelli Arts. I've had it quite a long time. Just found the packaging. Gelli Arts parchment paper, and it comes in a big pack, 12 by 16. I tend to not use them that size. I tend to put them into halves or quarters, usually quarters, to fit this plate. But it's like deli paper. It's got a smooth side and it isn't shiny, but more of a shiny side and a rough side, or a matte side. And basically you just scrunch it into a ball. I've done 2 of these. I've done 1 sheet, cut them in half, and I'm going to just scrunch 2 bits up like that, because I'm going to use these later to make tape or collage fodder, because once the alcohol ink is on them and some of the ice and some of the other products, it makes fantastic tape. I've got some here which I've created, and it makes lovely tape, which you can use for collage, for anything, really anything you want. And you get a lot of the colour on here, so it's nice to keep it and use it for something later. When I use alcohol inks, I am a very messy person, so I always put gloves on, and don't wear your best clothes, because it can go everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So I also have some disposable gloves in with my alcohol inks, so that I don't get it all over my hands, because it does stain. So I'll begin by putting my gloves on. I tend to use just copier paper for jelly printing. Now this is a little bit heavier copier paper, which is nice, so the alcohol inks don't saturate it so much. You do lift quite a lot off, but with so many layers it's nice to have a little bit something more sturdy. So this is 160 GSM. It's just normal copier paper, but I get from the stationers, and I've cut the sheets to be slightly bigger than my plate, just so that I have a little bit of something on the edge. There isn't much overlap, just a few mils, but it just gives me something to get hold of, so I don't get my fingers into the prints or the alcohol or whatever's on there. So I think that's it. Oh, this was the other thing I was going to show you before we started. this was my favourite jelly print, this one here, and this is the original jelly print. Now I have a excuse me, a colour copier, and it will copy anything. It is just an inkjet one, it isn't a laser printer, so it's a printer copier scanner, and it's very good. It cost quite a lot of money, but it's been worth every penny because I can actually alter the shade, tint, tone and shade of my prints if I photocopy them. Because sometimes if I absolutely love a print, I will use it, but I'll take copies before so that I've got something for collage fodder later. It's fairly okay for doing sort of colour matches, but it also will make the copies larger. So I can put fit to page and it'll turn this size into almost an A4, which is absolutely brilliant because then I get a larger version if I want to use it as collage fodder and I want a bigger area. And it also shows up the detail and makes that bigger. So this was just a normal copy. It wasn't made darker or lighter, and as you can see, it's not bad. You don't obviously get the reflectiveness of the sort of metallic elements. That doesn't bother me. I can always add them onto this. So that's the original and the normal copy. I then did it 2 shades lighter because I can do that. So I put the tints, tones, shades, whatever, lighter. So this is two notches lighter, which is nice because it brings out some of the other texture. And then this is the final one, and this is 4 stops lighter. And again, it's completely different, but it's nice in its own way because you've got lovely little areas where you can see more of the detail. So I'll keep all of those and use them for collaging later. I just thought I'd let you know about that if you have a printer that you can do that. Sometimes if you go to the commercial printers, our stationers does laser copies. I haven't asked him to make anything lighter, but he might be able to. I'll have to ask him next time I go. They have just reopened. So we'll get started. Right, so we'll have another go at another print. I haven't cleaned my plate from last time. It's still got a little bit of alcohol ink on it. I'm going to go with Celestial, which I'm just going to do a bit about, round and about, and just spread it about with my crumpled up tissue. You can concentrate more in some areas than others if you want. If you've got too much, just keep dabbing it, it'll take it off. I'll also go with Mineral. And you can see our tissue's getting nice and inky, so it'll make some nice tissue tape later. So I'll just scrunch it in a different area. I'm sort of working this not all over, just so it's got areas that's got this colour in. The odd little bit elsewhere. We'll go with some orange, I think. Just the odd 3 little ones, I think, of orange, not so much. some brown. And I don't mind if there's some of the darker edges left. I don't want many, but just a few. I don't mind a few. And I'm trying to let the alcohol inks dry in between each colour. So we've had the orange, we've had the brown, we've had the blue. Haven't had smolder yet, and we haven't had black. Don't think I'm going to use yellow. So I've got to be very careful because the black comes out very quickly. I'm not actually squirting it, I'm just almost splashing it on. That's that. Put it on my mat, so we got the black. We need the smolder. We'll try and put that into areas where we haven't got much colour going on. Right, so we've got a fairly even coverage of that. Now, I don't know, I think I'm going to go for a different ice. Let's have a look, what shall we have? Let's see. I might do a little bit of this one, which is Blue Ocean. Oh no, that bit of alcohol ink is still shimmering away, so it's not dried, so I better not put that on yet. Yeah, I think we're all dry now. You must always clean the caps of these things because they clog up terribly if you don't. Hopefully this is all dry so nothing will move. And then I think I'm going to put some of the Whiskey Frost on after this, which will give it a more antique-y look. Might take 2 lots of Whiskey Frost, I'll see. Will make it a little bit green though. Oh yeah, that's very nice. I love that. And you can see this is where I previously had colour on the plate, the colour on the print. So I'll just try and pick these bits up. Yeah, a little bit there. That's looking very nice and grungy. I think the Whiskey Frost will just give it the edge. I think it'll just make it a little bit grungier and more vintage looking. What I could do obviously is take a photocopy of that and then use that in the future. But I think I will. Yeah, I think Whiskey Frost will just give it a bit of something. I'm in 2 minds. I don't want to lose what I've got, but you've always got to try. Could do is, no, you wait too long, your whiskey frost will be dry. Oh yes, I like that. That's just a little bit more vintagey, but I like it. That's it. Yeah, because it's turned these into nice greens. So that is a really nice background. I could, if I wanted, add some more little bits to it to give it a bit more grunge, which I think I might do. We'll see. I think I might do a little bit more of the orange, which when it mixes with some of the other colours will go to a brown, but I don't mind that. Oh dear. Alcohol ink all over my hands. Just take a while. It dries quite quickly, does ice on the gel plate, but on paper it doesn't. Yeah, that's got a bit more orange, which I like. I might just go with a little bit more of this blue. I'm liking where I'm seeing the blue, but I think it needs just a little bit more. Oops, didn't mean for a line, but anyway. And I open my tissue out to find out areas where I think I could do with a little bit more texture. That way. Yeah, that's it. I think we're getting there now. I've just got a couple of areas where I want a little bit more of something. Just maybe a little bit more black. Make it really grungy. I want a bit up there. A bit there. Maybe a bit here. Don't want to go too mad. Oh, no, finger marks. You can keep going forever with these. Adding layers and layers and layers. Oh yeah, that's darkened it up nicely. This area was bothering me because there was an absolute circle there, but now that's gone, I'm a bit happier. I might add a little bit of orange just in that corner, just to take that off. That dulled down a little bit. That's it, yeah, I think I'm done. I think that is an absolutely gorgeous print. I absolutely love it. So that's quite an easy way of creating really nice backgrounds, just by using the ice and alcohol inks. But as you can see, the ice does give it another level. It just takes it up to another level. So I hope you give that a go.